You can go.
Okay, perfect. Well, welcome everybody. Today I am going to do a webinar with you on how to use your chapter website. My name is Ashley Wilson. I am the Associate Director of Membership here with APWA. I've been with APWA for about 9 years now, and I've been doing chapter websites for 4 or 5 years now. And so I'm kind of your guru when it comes to anything and everything that has to do with the chapter website template, along with a few others on staff here. So we're going to jump right into it and get started. Some of the things that we'll go over today is just how to get started. I know I've got a couple of you that are on the call that are going to be brand new to the website template. And so just a little quick information on how to get started. We'll review the jobs template that's out there, as that's something new that maybe some of you don't know much about. We released that about a year and a half ago. Events and registration, we'll spend quite a lot of time on that. Polling and election, we'll go over that as well because it is also a newer feature in the last 2 years. And then I really want to go over some tips and tricks with you, some things that I've learned along the way, or some things that may make your life a little bit easier that other chapters have had to experience, and then some other stuff that a few chapters are doing really, really well. I want to show you some examples of what those are. And then lastly, we'll finalize with what's coming next. There's always something else coming out or something that's coming down the pipeline here with APWA when it comes to technology. So I kind of want to show you what our thoughts are for what's coming down the road. We'll get started here. So getting started, some of the big things that you just need to know when you get started with your chapter website is the homepage is huge. So there's quite a lot of things on the homepage that I'll go over with you that you have the ability to actually edit and customize and make your own. But there are things that we here at National have locked down, so you have to make those changes through us, just because it's easier for formatting-wise and it's easier for us to control that a little bit more if we do it here versus opening that up for the admins at the local level to do. Your logo goes across the top of the web page, and I'll talk about that when we get there. But the logo is something that, again, we will work with you to create that logo so it's a unique look to you, but it also kind of fits the guidelines that we have for our chapter logos. User permissions. Most of you will want to know, what is that? Well, these are the folks who get access to your chapter website, and I'll go over the area of where you can provide additional access for those who need that. But who are your users going to be is the big question. Who do you want to be able to edit the website, do events, do registration, all of that type of stuff? That's who your users will be. The control panel, it's a key word that you'll hear a lot throughout this webinar. That control panel is where you access everything for your chapter website. It's where you do all of your pages, all of your event setup, all of your editing of everything. It's controlled there. Menus and submenus, what are those? Well, we'll go over that when we get in there, but submenus are something that at the chapter level you have the ability to edit and organize as needed. So we'll go over kind of how to do that. Images. Images are huge as well. Make sure you have the right image, you have the right size, they're clear, they're not large, they're not too small, that type of stuff. And then pages, oh my, everything you do with pages is all done through the control panel, but that really is your website. So I put in here, oh my, because that's a lot to throw at somebody when they're just getting started on a chapter website. But rest assured, we're here for you. We're here to help you answer anything that you need to answer and go through anything. And hopefully today we'll be able to get through a good chunk of this. So I'm going to dive right on in here with a lot of this information here. And we're going to start out with a sample website that I've built. Hopefully everybody can see the chapter website that I've got created here, and we'll start with just going over what the home page is and what you have access to and what's kind of locked down. So you'll see these many different areas right here in the middle of the screen. The biggest box right here is considered what we call the picture stream, and this is the capability for you to add in any images that you would like into this area that then someone can click on, and it will take them over to another area of your website, or it will take them to an external area. For this space, there is a certain size for that image, and when you're uploading images in here, it will tell you what the sizing needs to be. Otherwise, it will automatically resize your image either up or down based on the size of it that you upload to make it fit in this space. And we'll go over that once we kind of walk through the Feeds Manager area of how to do that, but just kind of keep that in mind. This image here, there is a black box that goes across the bottom, so be aware that there's text in a black box down here. And if you're going to write anything in there, which is required to have something in this area, you may want to be cautious of the image that you use so it doesn't overlap something that you want to be seen. You can fit, I believe, up to 11 images in this area, and it will automatically filter through every 6 seconds, those images there. So it will 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it switches on you. The other areas that you have that you can control are this box right here that has the PWX logo in it right now. This is what we call the left feed, and the one right next to it is the right feed. Those two spaces are also controlled by the admins of the website. So you can place images in there, you can put videos in those spaces, or you can do quick links like I've got listed here. The far right-hand box is the APWA box. This is the one portion of your homepage or of your website that National has locked down to National. So we usually change this out a couple times a year. We'll put the PWX logo out on there when it's getting ready to gear up for PWX. We'll place the snow logo out there whenever it's snow conference time. National Public Works Week logo may go up there. It could be quick links that we've got placed out there for folks to get to the National website. Or any type of advertisement or item that we want to try to get out there in front of your members, we will place in that box there. If you've got concerns about that or you don't like what we're putting out there, you can always reach out to us here at National. Give me a call, shoot me an email. We can discuss kind of what it is that you would like to have out there. If you are not enjoying what we are placing out there at that time, we can definitely discuss that and put something else up there for you. The other areas that you have access to is this box down here. This actually goes across, this footer goes across all of your pages, no matter what. It's not just your home page, but the little flashing images at the bottom are what we call sponsor banners. And I'll show you how to control those, but you have the capability to put your sponsors in there. You can advertise your own events in there. I've seen some chapters that have quite a few branches place their branch logos in that space so it will rotate through their branches. That it really is your space to use. And if you've got nothing in there at the time, it will go to default ads, which will be National's default ads about membership, about our conferences, about WorkZone will flash through there. So those will automatically load if you have nothing in that space. Over on the right-hand side are any social media areas that you've got on your website. So if you guys have a Facebook, a Twitter, a LinkedIn, anything else that you would like to do social media-wise, if you provide us a link to those accounts, we will place those icons out there, and we will update that for you so that way it shows just your social media area out there. You unfortunately don't have the capability to edit that. That is something that we have to do through National, but it doesn't take us very long to add those pieces in there for you. We can add them at any point in time. The other boxes of information will be the upcoming events section. So the way every chapter is loaded is that the upcoming events will be split between National and chapter. So for every chapter event there is up to 4 events, this box will drop down and National will remain in the bottom quad of this. If there are no chapter events, then National will go to the very top and list out all of the National events there. We do have some chapters that would rather only have their chapter events listed in there, and if that's something that your chapter would like to do is just see your events and no National events, just let me know. We can fix that for your website and only show your events in there. We've got a handful of chapters who do that just because they have quite a few events that they host throughout the year, and they'd rather that be filled with all of theirs. The other area that I talked about would be your submenus. So these up here are considered your main menu, and that is something that here at National that we will work with you to figure out what it is that you want those to be. You can have anywhere between 4 to, I believe, up to 10 of them in this space here, but we want to know up front what it is that you want those titles to be. So for this instance, it's news, chapter, branches, resources, and education. But that is customized to your chapter however you would like it. Everything underneath of it, you actually have full control over. You get to come up with the wording for it. You get to add them in there. You get to organize them in whatever order you want them to. You can have them point to whatever you would like them to point to, whether it's internal or external of your website. So the submenus are 100% controlled by you and not controlled by us here at all. The logo that I was talking about earlier is this logo right here. This piece here, we will work with your chapter to come up with a logo for you to place across as the banner for that website, but that's something that we will have to implement for you, but we will work with you. I know some of the folks that are on the call, you have some branches that have branch websites, which is a possibility for those who have branches that would like a website. We have that capability to open the website template up to them as well, so they can have their own branch website. But we will work with the main chapter to come up with whatever they want that logo structure to look like. Do you want it to follow the main logo and then they just get the branch name next to it, or do you want them to actually be able to use their branch logos on it? So we'll work with you at the chapter level to really help bring in the branch pieces of this. Any questions so far about the home page that we have? Okay. We will move on to the control panel. So the control panel is where everything is controlled, obviously. So you've got Page Manager in here, which will be creation of the actual pages that sit within your website. So it's where the content is, where everything is happening. The Menu Manager controls your submenus. Your Feeds Manager really just controls all of those items on the home page. So it's that picture stream, that left and that right feed. It's all controlled in this box right here. User permissions, this is where you would give access to anybody that you want to be an administrator on the website. You would provide the permissions in there, or you can take it away if you'd like. The Event Manager is where the event creation is. So it's where you begin creating your event. It's where you create the options, you put the details out there. Everything for that event is set up through the Event Manager. Registration Manager ties into Event Manager, but it's the aftermath. So it's after somebody has registered for that event. You can go see all of the reporting on that event through the Registration Manager. So you can download the report, you can edit a registration, you can see how much money you've received. All of that information sits in Registration Manager. The Message Center right here actually links directly over to the Chapter Leader Resources website, and it takes you to the APWA email tool that's over there, which is a very, very basic email tool that as a chapter you have the ability to use to send out messages to your members. It's basic text. There's no images, there's no graphics, there's none of that stuff, so it's nothing fancy, but it is a tool that you can use. Photo albums is just a direct way to get to those photo albums that you've created on your website. You can also access them through the Page Manager as well. But if you just want to go directly to a photo album, you can come right into the control panel, click Photo Albums, and it'll take you right there. Document Library, this is where all of the documents on your website will be housed in the Document Library. So everything that you do that connects to a content page most likely will be placed in this library here, so you can access it later if you need to. There are certain caveats to that, meaning that if you create a document page and upload documents to that page, that document will only reside on that page only. It will not reside in the document library. So content pages, everything goes to the document library. Document pages, the document resides on that page only. Those are two different huge things there, and that's something that it can be a little confusing for the chapters as they start working through the website. The CT4 community is really a platform that is used if you have any questions or if you want to go see what others are doing. This community is there for you to use. I don't believe that it's really taken off. There's not a lot of content on that piece, but it is available for folks who would like to take advantage of that. Polling an election, or the polls manager right down here, is for your polls and your elections. So when you're creating a poll to send out to your members, or if you're creating an election for your board nominations, this is where you can go and do that. You can also create this through the Page Manager as well. Again, it's just a quick shortcut to get right to that. Same thing for jobs. It's the same way, works the exact same way. You can go right here and look at your jobs, or you can go to Page Manager and look at your jobs. But it's just we pulled that out because we understand that jobs is a very large task, and so it might be easier to look at them through this portal. The support ticket is there for you to submit tickets to our tech team here at APWA. So if there's any issues with the website, something's not happening, you can click right on that button. It's going to pull up a portal for you to submit a ticket directly into our web services team. That way they can address the issue, do bug fixes, and kind of prioritize the workload. You don't always have to go through that venue if you do not want to. You can always email me, you can always call me, you can always email support@apwa.net. Anybody is more than happy to jump in and help you, but this is just another way for you to submit that ticket or the issue that you may see on the website. I'm going to start with showing you the user permissions area first, just because it's probably one of the easier things to discuss. So user permissions, you can come in here and you can view who your current admins are on the website. You'll see there's a listing of administrators here, and some of them are not activated. It means that we've gone in and maybe added them as a user at one point in time, but we've deactivated their account, which means that they no longer have administrative rights to the chapter website or to this website to do any changes to it. You can edit a user setting by clicking on it. It will open it up, and then you can give them access to whatever areas of the website you would like to give them access to. So you really can lock some of this stuff down. There are some tips and tricks to this area. When it comes to event registration, you've got to give them more than just event registration. You've got to give them event manager, registration manager, security, user permissions area, and some of these security areas down in here, such as the chapter settings. Some of that stuff has to be given just because with event registration, you're doing some potentially refunds, setting up a processing of money, and so we really need them to have additional security rights to the website to be able to do anything on that. You have the ability to search by first name, last name, and company across the whole website. So if you're adding somebody new in, you can add them through here by searching for them. You can search by partial of a name. So if you want to search by the first initial A and the last name Wilson, you could search by A Wilson, and it will pull up everybody with an A in their first name and the last name Wilson. You can search by company as well. The one big thing when it comes to user permissions or the ability to give them admin rights to your website is you just can't give it to anybody. You've got to give it to somebody that is within your chapter. If not, you need to let us know here at National so we can kind of work on their account to give them chapter access. They also must be a member in good standing with us. So not only a member of APWA, but a member in good standing. If they are not a paid member, it will not allow them to be an admin. Now, I know some of you do have admins who are not members of APWA because you outsource it to someone possibly that is a non-member. We can work with you on that one. We just need you to let us know who those folks are so we can code them in our database as a non-member with chapter website administration capability. But that's kind of the caveat for the rules when it comes to an administrator on the website. We'll jump into Menu Manager next. So Menu Manager is where you would create all of your submenus. And there's quite a lot when it comes to a Menu Manager that you can do. Some of the things that you can do is you can link it over to an external URL. So if you wanted to go to something outside of your website, you sure can. There's an area to do that. You can link to an internal page, a page you've created within your website. You can also link to multiple pages within a submenu as well. So for example, I've got a couple different things here to show you what I mean by that one. So if you create a submenu, you can link it to a single page, which is right here. This is what it would look like. It would link to a page that's been created, which is one page of content. So it immediately opens up that page for you. If I were to click on this mini listings one, it will link me directly to a page that shows me many pages within that submenu. So I can see everything in here, and I can click on a page and go in a little bit further to that page to see what is shown there. If I click on this one, it's going to show me that I can link a submenu to different types of pages, and then they're going to tab out at here across the top. So all of my content pages will show on this page here if I click on this tab. All of my document pages will show on here, and then photo album, same thing. It'll all kind of show listed out right here. So how to do this? Let me go back into Menu Manager. How you would do this is you can click on Create New Submenu, and when you get in here, it's going to ask you, okay, what area do you want your submenu to go under? And that's what these check mark boxes are up here. These are your main menus, so if I wanted to add something underneath News, I would check mark News. I could also create that same menu under Chapter, and so if I wanted to have a duplicate or a replication of a submenu underneath two main menus, I sure could. I wouldn't recommend that you do that, but you could if you wanted to. The security type here, the security type will run across everything you do on this website. You've got different types here. You've got public, which means that a public user can come to the website and access this. They do not have to be signed into your website. If you select members only, that means only members of APWA, not just of your chapter, but of APWA that are in good standing. Have access, and they will be required to sign in before they can view the content. Chapter groups only will be a feature that will come down the road in the future, but it's something that you can use to create groups within your chapter website that can have access to certain things within your website. So for instance, your committees, you could assign a bunch of pages to your committees that only they have access to, that nobody else does. That is a feature that will come in the future though. Chapter administrator is locked down to anybody that is an admin on the website. So those are kind of what the 4 different security levels are. You're probably going to use mostly public and members only if I had to guess, and I would say probably 90% will be public. With every single page, there is a start date and an end time. It is not required to fill those out. However, if you do fill them out, they will arrive and show up active during the times that you tell it to start, and they will shut down at the times that you tell it to come down. So you do not have to fill them out. If you don't, they'll constantly be active, but if you want them to come down at a certain time, you will need to put start date and end dates in these. So to link to an external menu, there's a little tiny box right here that you check mark. It changes the look of the screen right here. You will put your menu title in and then paste in your URL. Your URL will have to have the HTTP or an HTTPS in it for it to be put in there. I cannot just type in www.apwa.net. It's going to have the full URL to be able for it to be accepted. If you are not linking externally, you'll see this bottom half right here that will take you to all of the pages that are created within your website in the Page Manager area. So you would check mark the box that you want that submenu to go to. You can check mark 1, 2, multiples, whatever. But it will automatically link that submenu to that page or pages that you linked it to. So that's how you do a submenu. You can also edit all of the submenus as well by clicking Edit next to them. And it will open up that page and you can change anything else that you need to. This X button over here will delete anything. So if you click that button, it will make it inactive, essentially deleting it from your view so you cannot see it. If something is ever deleted on your website, you can always reach out to us and we can for the most part, we can recover it. Just make sure you contact us as quickly as possible after you do that because we can go back and retrieve that and make it active again. The other thing I wanted to show you was this Organize and Sort submenu. So this is a new feature that was added probably about a year ago, but you can actually go through and organize your submenus now. So you can put them in whatever order you want to. The biggest thing to note is that you cannot drag across. In order to change something from education to resources, you'd have to go in and edit it and check mark those boxes across the top to change where it goes. But if you wanted to order them in the box that they're in, meaning up and down, you can absolutely do that. So if I wanted to put these in ABC order, I can. I just drag and drop. It automatically saves it. And when I go out to that menu now, it should be saved and showing there for me in that order. And it is. So that's very, very easy to reorganize these now. I'm going to jump into Feeds Manager, and we'll go over how to control your home page. So everything that you do on that home page, minus the sponsors area across the bottom here, is controlled in here. So I typically recommend for the picture stream area that you create what I call a folder here, and you label it picture stream. So you understand that this is for that large box on your home page that we call a picture stream. And anything that you want to place on that picture stream, you put inside this folder, essentially. It makes it much easier for you. It makes it a little bit cleaner to know this is where I'm going, this is what I'm editing, this is what I'm doing. So if I wanted to add a picture to be shown in that big box on my home page, I would go to Feeds Manager, find my picture stream folder, and click Add Feed Item. This will open up a box for me to insert that image, that content that needs to go on there, and the link of where if somebody clicks on that picture to take them to. You'll notice here it's got those prompts for those picture sizes. This will automatically resize in this box here for you. So if your image is not that size, it could be distorted, especially if it's going from really small to this large image, or it could look really, really weird with it going from really large to really small. So we usually say if you can resize before you place it in here, great. If you can't, we'll do it for you. You just may need to look at what that looks like. So that's to add a new one in there. If I wanted to edit something that was already in that folder, then I would go back to the main level, click View, because I want to view everything that's in that folder. It's going to open up that folder for me, essentially. And from here, you can edit anything that's sitting in there. So I can go in here and make it inactive and unpublish it, which is removing it from being seen. I can also put a date in there, so if I want this image to come down on a certain date, I can say, hey, take this down tonight at midnight, and it will take it down this evening for me, and I won't have to worry about it anymore. It'll automatically make it inactive and unpublish it for me. If I need to change out my image, I sure can as well. So that would be your picture stream area. Now, for your left and right feeds, they're a little bit different. You have more capability in your left and right feed as far as what you can put in there. You can put an image, you can put a video, and you can put links in there. So on my left-hand side, I placed an image, which is the PWX Seattle image. And so to edit that, I would again click Edit, and I can edit that. But if I wanted to add a new one, I would click Create New Feed at the top. I'd select my feed area to be left. If I want it to be an image, the type of feed that it is an image. If it was going to be a video, obviously I would change it to embed a video in there. And if I wanted to do text in there to link over to different items, it's called a link items feed. And I'll show you, that one works similar to the picture stream when you're doing link items, and I'll show you what that looks like when we get to my other example. But this one's just an image, so it's an image only. So since it's just an image, I'll actually put all of my content information right here in this folder, essentially. So I'm going to place my image in there, I'm going to place my URL, and the title really doesn't matter because nobody's going to see it because the image is going to show in front of the title. But then I would save that and it shows on my home page. For your link item, which I've got as my left feed, it, like I said, works just like the picture stream. So if I wanted to add an additional line of text on that home page area, I would click Add Feed Item, and I would enter my text information in there. So I would enter the title and where it's going, and then that will show up in the queue of items in that area. If I need to edit what's currently there, I would click View because I need to open up all the items underneath it there. Oops, I opened up the right one. I apologize. It will show you everything that I've got as far as text in that box. And so I can edit those as I need to. For the video, it works just like the image one. So for the video one, I've got it coded embed video. And you'll notice when I click Embed Video, it brings up this box down here that gives you a little bit of a URL help. So it tells you what to use. And this is taking the embed directly from YouTube. So we suggest for the most optimal video performance that you first upload your video to YouTube and then take the embed code from there and paste it in here. and that will place it in that box area for your viewers to see. So that is your Feeds Manager section. I'm going to run into and show you real quickly a Page Manager, which has everything underneath of it as far as your pages go. So you can simply come in here and edit anything that you've got active out there. You can delete pages by clicking this little X button. It says delete forever. Again, if you accidentally delete something, please contact us here at National right away, and we can reactivate those pages for you. We do keep backups for a couple of weeks, and so we can always reactivate something that's about a week old. If it's more than that, you might be lucky. We might still have it. It just depends, but we can most likely always reactivate something that you accidentally delete when it comes to a page. To create a new page, you simply click Create New Page. You're going to ask what type of page it is that you want. Again, you can create all the pages in Page Manager, or you can go to their simple section within the control panel and create it from there if you would like. Content page is probably the most used page there is. Committee pages, we'll walk through that very briefly on what those are, but the pages even have the security types on that level for you to use as well. So on a content page here, when you go in there, you have the Easy Editor mode, so you can easily edit anything in here with the WYSIWYG tool. You can drop this down so you can see the full content area in here if you'd like. If you're very, very good with HTML, we do have the HTML editor. So you can copy and paste HTML, or you can manipulate the HTML as you need to if you're someone that is very comfortable with that. You've got the Insert Hyperlink, Insert an Image, or Insert a document. This will go out to your document library out on the website and pull those files in from there. You also have the ability when you insert an image, once an image is inserted, it will give you an image editor box, so you can wrap text around an image and place it wherever you would like without having these big gaps in there. And so once that image is inserted, you'll have that left, right, center, wrap text functionality for the images in there. The committee page, real quick, looks very similar to a content page, but you have the ability to add your committee members over here on the right-hand side. So if I wanted to add somebody, I sure could. Again, this is going to search for everybody that's in your chapter. I can select to add them to my list, and it will automatically place all of those individuals over here on this side. I can create a non-member account if they do not show up in the lookup. I can also go directly to my officers list or my past presidents list to be able to easily add them in here. So let's say Ashley Garcia is the chair of the committee. I can drag her name to the very top, and it will place Ashley at the very top of the list. So what it will do when it pulls up the page, it will show you the content on the left side, and on the right-hand side, a quadrant of it will show you the list of all the committee members' names with contact information for all of them. Should they click on that person's name, it'll pull up their email address and their phone number. A photo album is pretty self-explanatory. We'll walk through that real quick. But if I click on photo album, it's going to ask me for a title, a description, and then a short description. So typically a short description is just a sentence or a couple of words, but your long description can be a lot longer if you'd like it to. You would upload your files by clicking Select Files. It's going to open up your computer, and you can go out here and insert images directly from there. So all of those will automatically link in there, and then you hit next to preview and save. Boom, your photo album is done. So it's pretty easy to navigate a photo album. Sponsors page is a little bit different. I'm going to actually pull up one that I've completed already to show you. So once this page loads, you have a little bit of area that needs to be selected and filled out. So the title, the short description. This description here also needs to be filled out. Nobody is going to see that information, but it's stuff there for you to use. The biggest piece, again, is you're going to have to insert these two image boxes here. So this top one is what we call a content image, which means this image can be placed on any pages that are out there. Most likely it will be placed on your event pages. If you've got some event sponsors, you can automatically place these logos on those event sponsors page in the sponsors area, and I'll show you what that looks like. I've got an example for us. These are 265 by 123 for those content ones, and they will not automatically resize for you. So you will only be able to select 265 by 123 of an image that you place in there with the grabber tool. The footer image is not required that you fill out, but if you want them to go across the footer of the page, you will have to place your image in here. Again, the sizing is 469 by 62, so you will only be able to place that maximum amount of size in there. So for these areas for sponsors, I would get these sized to these exact measurements. Some sponsors are very, very particular on how their logo looks, so I would ask them for the images in these sizes versus as a chapter admin, you taking that responsibility and doing that. You do not want to upset a sponsor by doing something incorrect with their logo, so my recommendation is to ask them to provide these to you in these sizes. Every single one of them can have a URL that connects to them. And so when they click on it, you can take them to somewhere on your website, or if you want to, you can take them to their website. And so for the sponsors, they automatically jumped right on in here. I think it's 4 seconds on those, it will flip to another sponsor. And you can have, I believe, up to about 15 of them in there. It will float through all of them. I believe it's 15 is the max for that space, though. I'm going to show you real quickly a jobs page. So we've given you a template to be used for jobs. And you click on the jobs page, it's going to open up this area for you to fill out some information on that job. I would highly, highly recommend that you do use start and end dates on job pages. And there is a specific reason behind that, because most times you're only going to let a job post out there for, let's say, 30 days to 45 days maybe, or maybe they only want it up for 2 weeks with you. By putting at least your end date on here, it will automatically remove that job from your website being visible, so you do not have to worry about keeping track of those dates. So titles required, organization, your state, your providence, job category. This pulls directly from the job categories that we've got set for WorkZone, so we just used them over here because they seem to fit the gamut. Same thing with job type. Exactly pulled from what we used from our national job board. We just placed on here, so that way you guys are kind of following the same coding on that. You can copy and paste your job information in here. You can upload it, and then you just hit next to preview and save, and boom, you're done. This will automatically post to your jobs employment page. There is a shortened URL that gets you to that place where these automatically post to. It is your website URL. So for this instance, it's sample.apwa.net/jobs. So it would be your website URL/jobs, and that's where these automatically get posted to. They will go in order of date on there, and they will remove based off of the end date. The only difference is if you were to select this little tiny box here that says featured job. A featured job will automatically stay placed at the very top of that jobs page no matter what, and it will remain up there for that time frame that you've got your start and end date out there for. So an example of a jobs listing page would be right here. So what I mean by is once you create one of these, it automatically dumps into this page right here, and it puts them in date order for you. When I click on it, it's got everything formatted for me, so you don't have to worry about formatting the important stuff at the top. It's automatically going to format that for you the way it should be. And then there's all of your details underneath. So that is a jobs page. Any questions so far? Rhonda, do we have anything in the chat window yet?
No. And
okay.
They can unmute your phone if you do have questions.
Okay, well, I'm going to keep. Okay, perfect. I'm going to move on. I want to make sure that we get to some of the hottest items, which is our event manager. So I'm going to go back here, we'll get back to the control panel. And I'm going to click on Event Manager. I went ahead and preloaded some events in here just so that way it would be easier for us to navigate and you wouldn't be waiting on me to set up options, but I will go ahead and jump in here and show you what they look like. So you obviously click Create New Event for each new event that you want to create. Within there, again, you have security type. Your event start date and time is the date of the event, not the date that registration opens. This is the date of the actual event and the time of the actual event up here across the top. Time zone is extremely important. For those of you who are not on Central Standard Time, you need to make sure that you select your time zone that your event is being held in. So for those who are on the coast, on Mountain Time, make sure that you do change that time zone. It will default to Central, but this is important because as people register, they're going to get an email with a calendar reminder in it, and it's going to put it on their calendar based on the time zone that the event's in. So that is huge that you make sure that you adjust that if you're not in Central Time Zone. Event title, short description are required. This is an active button. Do not uncheck this box. I cannot say that enough. It is probably one of the biggest tips that will save you a whole lot of headache. It says it's active. What that really means is that do you want to delete this or do you want to keep this active for you to view? So if that box is unchecked, it's actually going to delete it, so you no longer have access to view it, see it, edit it, do anything to it. And that's when you're going to be calling us saying, I accidentally deleted my job or my event. Not a problem. We can recover those for you. We will be relabeling this box in the future, so that way it's a little bit more descriptive of what it really does. So always, always, always leave this box as active. Even if your event is not currently active, leave it unless you're really meaning to delete this event. The hosted by, this is if you happen to have branches underneath of you, you can select if it's hosted by a branch. This is extremely important when it comes to the way we process credit card check payments back to the chapters. If you need checks to go to branches, if you do not select that it's hosted by a certain branch, we will not know that, which means we will not cut the funds that were received through a credit card payment to that branch. So that is huge that you select who that hosted by is. Also, everything right here in these two boxes help with insurance coverage. So what I mean by that is here at National, you've got paperwork that you've got to fill out and let us know about your events. And so your jobs or your events must be posted on your website, and we must know what type of event it is and who's hosting that event for coverage. You may have additional paperwork that has to be filled out for certain events, and that's something you will need to work with our finance department on to ensure we have the proper coverage for your events, should something were to ever happen. Self-explanatory up here as far as information goes. You've got your content area down here, your description box that shows everything. You can place text in there, you can do images in there, whatever you'd like. This is your box to upload information into. This one is just a simple graphic that was created that I just pasted in here, and it had all of their details on it. You'll notice this lovely little edit confirmation email right here. If you click the little pencil icon, it's going to drop down a box down here at the bottom, which is the confirmation email template. Everyone that registers for the event will receive a confirmation. So not the person logged in registering them, but everybody that's actually physically registered receives a confirmation email. And it will give them their name, the event, the link to the event, and what they register for, what their options are. You have that capability to edit that confirmation email and place whatever you would like in there. I've seen some chapters put a header logo across the top. I've seen some chapters place cancellation policies in there. I've seen some chapters link it over to hotel registration information with forms in it that they need to have them fill out and send back in for golf registration, stuff like that they put in this confirmation email because you have that capability to edit it. The one tip that I will give you is do not delete these little percentage sign things or this couple boxes of text. This is locked down. So if you delete them, it will not send the proper stuff to your registrants like it should. So make sure that that stays in there. But you can drop it down and put stuff above it. You can put things below it. Just do not touch that those couple boxes of text in there. So then your next thing is your options. You have the ability to create your own registration options. Not every event has to have registration behind it, but if you would like folks to register through the website, you will have to create registration options. And so to do that, you click the New Option button, It's going to pull up a screen here that you can fill out your information. You've got the option type is optional and main. Main means that they can only have this or that, meaning that they can only select product 1 or product 2. They cannot have 2 of those in the cart. Optional means they can have product 1, product 2, product 3, product 4, all of them in the cart. It does not matter what they get. The other difference between main and optional is main is a 1-for-1, which means that if I'm going to select to attend a luncheon, I can only buy 1 lunch under my name that's tied to me, which means I have to register somebody else for a 1 item. Optional, I can select up to 5 or 6 or 10 or whatever of them that I want to. I can myself buy as many of that quantity as you will allow me to buy for an optional. The maximum attendee, this is the maximum amount of tickets that can be sold for that option specifically. So if you only have 50 t-shirts and the size small, then you will say, I only have 50 t-shirts to sell. The system will max out and no longer let that option be sold after it hits 50. Max quantity is the max amount of quantity that one person can buy of that product at a time. So that's only for optional. The order by is in which the order is that you see the option on the screen. So if you have more than 1 option for them to select from, which one do you want listed first, then second, then third, then fourth? Early bird and regular start dates are in here. If you do not have early bird registration or price difference, you still have to fill these boxes out. My tip to you is that you always fill these boxes out so they are the exact same dates and times if you do not have a price differentiation between regular and early bird. So if I wanted everything to be the same price the whole time registration's open, I would set up this top line and copy and paste it all the way down into the second line. So that way it does not mess up your registration. If you've got early and regular rates, then you can set your dates to be different and your prices to be different for member and non-members. You can set all of that option in here. And then you click Save Option and Close. The really, really cool part is when you're creating brand new options, when you create Save Option, you're going to see a big green box that pops up right here that says Option has been saved. Your box is going to stay open, which means you can create another option immediately without closing out of it and starting from scratch. So I can use this exact same replica of this option and change the name of it, the price of it, the time of it, whatever I need to change on it. I can change all of that stuff without having to start over from scratch. So it makes it easier to create your other options in this event. You'll notice there's a second child tier option. This is for those folks who are wanting to maybe, let's say, sell a t-shirt, and then they want them to select what size of t-shirt they want, small, medium, or large. So this is when you would use the second tier option. I've got an example in another one that I will show you when we go to register what that looks like. We also have VIP or coupon codes, so you can add a coupon to any event to be used for a discount. Right now it is only by percentage of the total cart, so it's not by dollar amount, it's by percentage. So I created a VIP coupon to be used in my event that I can hand out to someone that's considered a VIP. Maybe it's a speaker coming to my conference, and we comp those registrations. We want to register them because we want them on our registration list, but we're not going to make them pay for the event. So I set up a coupon code with the code VIP. It's only active from 5/21 through 6/21, and they're going to get a 100% discount on whatever they register for, which means that anything they register for is going to be free for them. And so that's how you can lock that down. You can create coupons for 5%, 10%, whatever. You get to write your coupon code, you get to set your dates, and you get to set your percentage, and you get to select which events that they go on. So you'll save this. If you do not want to publish this event, meaning making it active for people to physically go out and register, you will just click on the click to save. If you want to physically publish this event so folks can actually go in and start registering, it'll place it on your home page as well. That's the click and save and publish. So there's two differences there. Let me go real quick into this features program to show you how to set up those second tier options. So I've got second tier options underneath my t-shirts because I wanted to sell t-shirts in different sizes. And so I basically just came in here, created a new option, and then I tied it back to this main level one. And I put in here that the t-shirt's $10. So if they select a size small, they can buy a size small t-shirt for $10. And I only have 50 of those t-shirts to sell. So now that that is all done, I'm going to go out to my homepage and register for this event. So I'm going to click on the Futures program. Because I know that it's got the t-shirt in it. So here's my detail information. Registration is now open, so I'm going to click Register. If I was not signed in, it would require me to create a login and sign in. So then I would come in here, I can register myself or someone else. If I register myself, I simply click the button and I can select my, that I'm going to attend the event and that I want to purchase a t-shirt that is a size large. So I will update this. Now it's going to show you what I've all purchased here. If I click this drop down, I can add someone else, I can add a guest, whatever else I'd like to add in my cart, I sure can. Everything looks good, so I'm going to move along in the process. You're going to get the risk and liability waiver. If they say no, they can't register for the event. If they say yes, I agree, then it moves them forward. They can select their payment type of how they're going to pay, and this was all created through the setup of the event of how you want to be able to allow them to select their payment or make a purchase. So I'm going to do this by a check. I'll enter check 1, 2, 3. I'm going to submit this, and then I'm going to submit it again because I confirmed it. And if I want to, I can print this screen and have this for my records. But I will also receive an email receipt and a confirmation. I'm going to take you to the Staff Appreciation Lunch because it's set up just a little bit differently. I've got a sponsors logo in here. So this is where your sponsors would show up on your event. And I'm going to click Register Now because I want to register for this event. I'm going to add someone else to my cart. And I'm going to look for the name Justina. There's no Justinas in my database. Okay, so now I'm going to add someone new. It's going to say, are you sure? I'm going to say, yep. And I can fill out the contact information, click Create Account. It's going to add that person to my database now, and then I can register them. Now I want to register Ashley, and I want Ashley to be registered for a table discount, which is $100. I would select that, click Update. It's going to add her to it. And I can add this payment in here. Again, I've got to select that I agree. We'll do a check. 1, 2, 3. All right, so everything there should look good. I am going to sign out and sign back in as an administrator so I can get to the registration manager. Now I want to go look at the event registration. I want to see who's registered, what's going on, all of that information. So within here, I will find my events that I've got going on. I can filter them by start date if I would like. So I want to go look at the registrations for the Futures program. I have the capability right here to send an email to those folks by clicking Email, and I can email everybody that's registered right here. I can filter it by processing people, maybe people who haven't paid their balances yet, and I want to send them a reminder that they need to pay their balances prior to the event by sending to that. Or I can send it to everybody and just hit send, and it will process to everybody that's registered for this event. So if you need to do a cancellation, if you need to do a reminder email, this is a great way to do it through here. Otherwise, I'm going to view my registrations. So on this page, you've got a dashboard, and it's going to show you your sales details broken down for you on how much everything it is, if everything's been paid, pending, or if there were refunds. The next tab is going to show you the counts, so the physical counts on each of those items. And payment details is going to show you how those payments arrived. So were they credit card sales, check sales, POs, so forth. So that's your summary tab, or your dashboard as we call them. Your Details and Edit Registration tab actually breaks down this information a little bit further for you, so it gives you the actual order number and what status that person is in. So this one I just said I paid with a check. So in order for me to process it once I receive the check, I will need to come in here and click Confirm. Once I click confirm, I can say how they paid. So let's say they call me up like, hey, can I pay by credit card? Absolutely you can. Click confirm, change their payment status to credit card, key in their credit card, hit submit. It will process it, send them an email, and now this confirmation is completed and they've paid for their registration. You can also confirm that you received the check as well. If you need to change out an attendee, let's say that Ashley can no longer attend this event. She needs to send Rhonda in her place. I can click change attendee. It will open up a screen. I will look for Rhonda's name. Once I find it, I will select her name and hit submit. It will change out that registration to go to Rhonda. Now, a little bit of a tip here. If they're registering somebody that is not in our database here at National, you will first need to contact us so we can enter that information into our database. Then you'll be able to select them from your chapter website. So if you don't see someone in here as you're searching to change them out, shoot an email off to me. I'll enter their information real quick. Then you'll be able to change that attendee. That's kind of one of the little tweaks, caveats, if you don't have the ability to enter off the fly a non-member if they're not in our database. Now, let's say someone calls you and they want you to resend a receipt to them because they've lost their receipt. You know, that doesn't ever happen, but they've lost their receipt. You come in here, you click on that email, you can click send email to the following people. You can send them the email receipt, the confirmations if you need to. You can email it to everybody and hit send. Or if you don't want to email it to attendees, maybe the finance department's the one that's called, you can enter the email address here, click send email, and it will send that email right off to them. Okay, so it says it's been scheduled to send it out, and it will send it to me. The other thing you can do is once a payment has been confirmed or it's been fully paid, you can edit their registration and process a refund right through here. It will say edit instead of confirm, which means that I can actually edit this registration and refund that amount to them. Registration report. You've got two different reports here. You've got download Excel file by attendee and download Excel file. The one that is by attendee takes the attendee's name and puts it on a row and puts all of their options over to the right in a column. The download Excel file, just plain, gives you every option that the attendee has registered for as a row. And so Ashley may have 5 rows to her registration because I registered for 5 different things. So it takes that information, puts it down in a row versus over in a column. And so you can look at the reports and filter them how you like, but some like it one way, some like it the other, so we've given you the ability for both. The other thing you may not know that's out there is the view badges. If I click view badges, I will automatically get the ability to see the badges that are in here, and I can print them right from here if I want to. So you don't have to create badges if you don't want to. Now this is a templated version. It's not going to probably give you everything that you would typically want on a badge. And so if you don't like this, you can create your own badges by exporting the Excel report and creating them through that way. But if you're okay with this, they're done for you. Put your labels in there, print the badges, boom, you're ready to go. I am going to skip the polling and election section because I want to go over tips and tricks, and I know that we're like 3 minutes I think I have left, and I want to show you some of the tips and trick stuff. We can do a polling and election specific webinar later on that's much shorter. That specifically goes over that information. So one of the things I want to show you as an example is from our Washington chapter, they've got some ways that they organize their website to make it look just really neat and really cool. And so I wanted to show you an example of that one. So this one is an example of what they've done to kind of make their pages pop a little bit more. Within their pages, they've added a header graphic, and it matches across the board. So every page you go to, for the most part, has this top image in here that they've created, and they've just plopped it in there, and then they've placed their content below it. So they've got kind of the top matches, the same sizing of header, the same graphic in here. It just matches based off of what it is that they're talking about. So that was really cool to see them do that, and that's something that's fairly easy that most chapters can do themselves. The other thing that the Washington chapter had, which I thought was really, really neat, is a sign-up sheet. So on their contact page, they have a bunch of information, but at the very, very bottom, it says subscribe to our email list. They use an outside email tool to use this, like Informs or one of the other email tools that are out there. Most of those will have an embed file that you can put onto your website for folks to be able to subscribe to the email list. And that's all this is they've pasted the HTML code into their website for this information on this page. And so when someone fills this out, it automatically subscribes them to their email marketing tool that they've got. I thought that was really, really cool as well. An example I want to give you is from the Colorado chapter. So Colorado chapter does host their golf tournament, as most of you do have one, but they take their golf registration directly through the website, which I thought was really cool. Some chapters struggle with the ability to do team registration through their website. Colorado kind of has it down to a little bit of a T. She's got things figured out over there. So they've got their golf tournament registration. They've got their gold level sponsorship registration in here as well. And I believe, maybe this one doesn't have teams on it, but they also have the team registration on there as well. So you can register a group of 4. And then they will collect the names from you through a form that they send over and then track on the back end. So you can do your golf tournaments through your website. It is a functionality that's available to you. Let me get back to my sample site. The other one that I want to show you is the newsletter example. So Arizona has a very intense newsletter, which I know some chapters do, which is awesome. They've also got some folks that are really, really good with HTML. And so they've been able to create a newsletter right within the page itself that has graphics and it has the left side footer on it. So this is all ability that you guys have. Again, it's just a matter of how comfortable are you with some of the HTML and the coding to be able to do this. Once it's usually set once, it's pretty easy to copy and paste it over and re-edit it as you need to, but that functionality is there for you. The other one that I want to show is Chicago Metro. So Chicago Metro has their large expo that they do every year. And it's rather large, and so they've got a lot of stuff behind this expo, and they do all of their registration through the website. So one thing that they've done with this large expo is they have a landing page off of their website. So it's Expo 2019 Expo details, and it brings them to this page right here. And from this page, they can click on, I want to buy tickets, and it takes them to the event that's set up to purchase tickets. They want to be a sponsor, it takes them to the event that they've set up for sponsors to be able to buy sponsorships through. Same thing for exhibitors. They've got a volunteer link that takes them to a volunteer page outside of the website that they track their volunteers through. They've got their program information listed here, their 5K registration, their rodeo. So anybody that comes here can kind of see what's going on with this event, and they can register for stuff or get to where they need to find out more information. The other really cool thing that Chicago does is they do a registration prior to the event, and then they do an on-site registration. So they close down their event registration from the public to see on their website about a week prior to the conference. But then they also have an on-site system that they use directly through this system. So basically they replicate the event registration by copying that event, and they do not make it published, which means they save the event down in the back end. They change the date so only the admins can get to it, and they publish it only for administrators. So that way their on-site folks can register people as they walk up, and they take the payment and do everything right there while they're on site without somebody sneaking in through the website to register. So I thought that was really cool that that's something that Chicago does. If you've got any questions on any of that information, please, please, please reach out to me. I'm more than happy to show you all of that information or go over that with you. So to wrap up, I want to real quickly go through what's coming next for chapter websites. So we have Canadian event registration. So for you Canadian chapters, if any of you are on the call, it is coming. We are so, so close to having this launched for you all, and it's super exciting. But it will also include your tax reporting. So it'll be a report that will pull down all of your taxes that are shown there for the Canadians. In the future, I don't have a date or even a tentative timeline or any of that type of stuff as far as a new version of the chapter website. We're calling it CT5. It will not be drastic like CT4 where you move from a completely different system to a new one. This one is more just a cosmetic upgrade, a look to the website. So that way it will match national look. And I'll show you real quick some previews of what we're thinking. It will be mobile responsive, and we'll also be working on bug fixes. So anything that you all have been reporting to me, I have been tracking that, and we have been working on them, and we've got a bug fix list going. So that way when we do some upgrades to the website, we're constantly looking at what needs to be fixed, what can we do quickly to kind of fix some of those quirky things that maybe are out there right now. So real quick, to show you potentially what we're looking at for a new version of the chapter website, or CT5 as we're coding it. This is kind of what we'll look for the homepage. It should match the national homepage look and feel, and this may change based off of what the national look and feel goes to. We're in the process of kind of revamping national website as well. So right now this is the potential for our chapter website, the login page, potential of what the event landing page will look like. Again, will match very similar to what national will look like, but maybe it'll give you a little bit more information than just the current event landing pages. For the admin, this is what we're looking at for the administrative side. So you'll have the ability to have the edit, view, delete, see all of your visitors just like you can now, have your archive, you'll have everything up here as far as admin goes that you can edit. So very clean, simple, and it shouldn't be drastic changes compared to what we have. For that completes my webinar today. Sorry, I did take right at the exact hour. I apologize, but hopefully you were able to get a lot out of this. If you've got any questions, feel free to ask now, or you can reach out to me via phone or email. Rhonda, do we have anything right now in the chat window?
We do not. So I already stopped the recording just so, so if anyone feels not comfortable being recorded with your questions, please unmute your phone and you can ask Ashley questions right now.
Ashley?
Yes.